Hello, this is Patrick at OneCNCWest. I hope you're having a great day and all is well. Over the past several months, I provided a number of different quotations to upgrade to OneCNC 10. Now, many of you have decided to upgrade right away, whereas other customers have decided to hold off and continue to evaluate their options. Now, I thought it would be a great benefit if I created a brief video and demonstrate some of the OneCNC 10 features that I think are very beneficial. I'll also include some features that customers have contacted me and told me that they find beneficial as well. All right, so let's take a look. Let's first take a look at some new OneCNC 10 features that are available within all the OneCNC CADCAM products. This includes mill, turn, wire EDM, profiler, and of course, solid creator. The first thing we'll take a look at is the brand new OneCNC 10 display cube. By default, it's in the lower left-hand corner, and this is a quick way to get to any view that you'd like. You can click on a corner of the cube, an edge, a side of the cube, whatever you'd like. It's very fast. This cube is also 100% user configurable, and of course, you can still use your standard method of rotating your display as well. If you want to edit the cube, just head up here to File, OneCNC Properties, and there's a brand new tab now, and it's called View Selector. Here you can change the location of the cube, size, text, transparency, and the colors. Another nice new feature that OneCNC 10 has provided is the ability to reset your sidebars. Let me give you a quick example. I'm going to take the Layers tab. I'm going to move it here. Let's take the Verify tab, and why don't we place that over here? And let's take the History tab, and let's place that right down here in the lower left-hand corner. All right, if I want to quickly reset these back to the default location within OneCNC 10, just head up here to File, back into OneCNC Properties, and you're going to find a brand new parameter in the lower left-hand corner called Reset Sidebars, and then click OK to that, and now all these sidebars have been reset. Another thing that's happened in the background that OneCNC spent a lot of time on is redeveloping the graphics engine. This is going to be noticeable through the CAD and the CAM side of OneCNC, and more particularly, I think you're going to really notice it when it comes to things like dimensions and notes and things like that. Let me quickly give you an example. Let's go to horizontal dimension, and I'm just going to place that right about there. All right, hit the space bar twice, and you're going to notice that this is a lot more sharp. It's more crisp right now. In previous versions of OneCNC, as you zoom in or zoom out, the dimensions in the past were a little bit fuzzy. All right, and this is again because of the new graphics engine. And this is, of course, available within all of the OneCNC products, not just milling, but also in turning, wire EDM, profiler, and solid creator. Okay, so brand new graphics engine. And speaking of dimensions, before we move on, OneCNC 10 also provides brand new detailing tools such as Smart Dimension. There's new additions such as Feature Arrow, Target Arrow, and there's also some brand new GD&T functionality that has not been available within previous versions. All right, so let's move forward and take a look at some additional new OneCNC 10 features. Now, if you have the professional or expert version of any OneCNC CAD/CAM system, or if you have a solid creator, you're going to have some brand new solid model tools. Let's first take a look at the brand new thread feature. We're going to head over to the command manager, go inside of our solids command, and from there we're going to find the option called thread model. Now, this is where you can create your own custom thread if you'd like, or you can select from a standard library. For example, I might go with the UN. You have access to the library. You can make edits or add your own custom thread types if you'd like. For this, I'm going to just use a standard size. In fact, why don't we come down? Let's select a 5/8, how about a 5/8 18? This is going to be an internal thread, and let's make that 1 inch long, and then we'll click OK. And what this does is this creates a thread form at X0Y0Z0. That makes it very simple to grab the thread form by its center and then locate it where you want to place the threads. That looks good. And then we're going to head over to the command manager, go inside of our model operations, and from there we're going to use difference. Just select the solid model and then select the thread form. I'm going to repeat that just a couple more times. Select the solid model, the thread form, solid model, and then the thread form, just like that. All right, so there's an example of how you can quickly create some internal threads. What about external threads? Well, you can definitely do that. In fact, let's open up the lathe software. And here you can see I've created an external thread for our lathe part. And now we can apply toolpath. Let's take a look at a couple of other brand new OneCNC 10 solid model features. Let's head over to the command manager. From there, we're going to select extrude, and you can see that within OneCNC 10, you have two brand new extrude tools, extrude 1 rail and extrude 2 rails. These work exactly the same way. Let's take a look at extrude 1 rail. All I'm going to do is select the very first rail. That looks good. And let's select the very first cross section. That looks great. And we'll select our second cross section. That looks good. Now we have a brand new solid model. And because that's a solid model, you can combine that with additional solid models. For example, let's grab both solid models, head over into our model operations. We'll use union. And now you can see we have one solid model. In fact, I can select that. I can hit hide. We no longer need that wireframe geometry. And now we can perform any additional solid model commands. For example, why don't we add a fillet to this? Let's head over here, select fillet. We'll add 125 thousandths fillet. We'll select OK. I'm going to grab that edge and grab that edge right there and right click. And there you go. All right, so brand new extrude tools provided by OneCNC 10, and that is the extrude 1 rail and extrude 2 rails. Now let's take a look at some new toolpath features provided by OneCNC 10. Now this feature is going to be available for all OneCNC mill CADCAM systems as well as all OneCNC lathe multi-axis CADCAM systems. This has to do with chamfering. You're no longer restricted to a chamfer tool that has an included angle of 90 degrees. Let me demonstrate. Let's turn this layer on. So let's say that along this edge, I'd like to create a chamfer that's 30 degrees and it has a width of 150 thousandths. All right, so to do that within OneCNC 10, we'll head over to the command manager, go inside of our stock toolpaths, and from there, we're going to select our chamfer edge. We're going to climb cut from here all the way to here and right-hand mouse click. All right, so right off the bat, you can see I'm using a chamfer tool that has a taper angle of 30 degrees, and that means that we have an included angle of 60 degrees. All that looks good. We'll click next on that. Our clearances look great. We'll click next on that. All right, so we're using this option 1, because our geometry is at the top of the chamfer. But what's interesting now within OneCNC 10 is that these 3 options right here are calculated from the angle of the tool that you're using. All right, so because I'm using a 60-degree included angle, all these values are important and calculated from that. So the width, we already know that the width is going to be 150 thousandths. And our tip Z, that's simply just how far the tool is going to go past the very bottom of the chamfer. Also notice the new graphics provided by OneCNC 10. Very, very clear and easy to understand. I think all that looks good. Let's go ahead and click next on that. I'm going to have the tool start a little bit before. And why don't we make it start before? How about 300 thousandths? And we'll do the same for the ending. And we'll click finish. That looks good. Let's bring our dimension layer back on and let's simulate our toolpath. By the way, here's another brand new feature provided by OneCNC 10. The stock model, if you're using a solid model for stock, will now appear within this dialog box. All right, so let's click OK to that. And now you can see we're using our 60-degree included angle tool, and it lines right up with our dimensions. 30-degree angle with 150 thousandths width. All right, so that's a brand new feature provided by OneCNC 10. Let's quickly take a look at some other new features that have been added to the OneCNC chamfering operation. In this example, I've applied the toolpath to a solid model, and notice that you can now apply a depth of cut and step over. In fact, let's quickly edit this machining operation. And as we push through the dialog boxes here, you can see that on this last page, you now have the ability to specify a step over amount and also a depth of cut. So if we were to simulate this, again with OneCNC10, you can see the stock solid model within the preview here. Let's click OK to that. And I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. So using a smaller chamfer tool, you can now apply or machine larger chamfers, and they could be at any angle that you'd like. Now let's take a look at corner rounding. The corner rounding machining operation has also been advanced within OneCNC10 and also provides the ability to add a depth of cut. In fact, you can see that right here. If you check rough depths, you can specify a rough depth amount, and that's what I've done here. And why don't we preview this toolpath? So preview toolpath. And here are the multiple depths of cut provided by the OneCNC10 corner rounding machining operation. All right, that's it for this video. We were able to demonstrate just a few of the new features provided by OneCNC10. If you have questions regarding the benefits that OneCNC10 can provide for you, please contact. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.